Look at your life right now. Maybe you're sitting there in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or even older, staring at the screen or the mirror, feeling that deep, quiet ache in your chest. The regret over dreams you quietly let die, the paths you didn't take, the years that seemed to have slipped through your fingers while you were busy surviving. That small, persistent voice in your head keeps whispering the same cruel words. It's too late now. You missed your window. The best years are gone. But listen carefully. What if that voice has been lying to you all along? What if this moment, right here, is actually the beginning of something powerful? If these words hit home, if they stir something inside you, do me a favor. Hit that like button to show you're ready for change, and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. That way, you'll never miss these calm, timeless Stoic reminders that can quietly transform your life. Number 1, it's never too late. The Stoic view of time and opportunity. The ancient Stoics saw time in a way that frees us from despair. Seneca, one of the clearest voices on this, wrote that life isn't short by nature. We make it short by wasting on distractions, worries, and things that don't truly matter. He pointed out how strange it is that we only start truly living when we're forced to face the end. Yet he also showed that this realization, this wake-up call, can come at any age. No matter how many years you've lived, the only time you ever truly possess is this present moment. The past is finished. The future is not promised. Restarting your life begins with fully owning this single, irreplaceable now. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced war, plague, and betrayal, wrote private notes to himself in his tent at night. One of his most powerful reminders was this: imagine that everything you've lived until today is already over, like the life of a man who has died, and whatever time remains is a bonus, an unexpected gift. When you see the years ahead this way, age stops feeling like a deadline and starts feeling like freedom. You've already made the mistakes, survived the failures, learned the hard lessons that younger people still have to face. That accumulated wisdom isn't a burden, it's your quiet advantage. It allows you to move forward with clearer eyes and steadier steps. Epictetus, who began life as a slave and had every reason to feel trapped, taught something simple but revolutionary. Nothing external truly controls us. Only our judgments do. If you look at your age and judge it as too late, you create your own suffering. But the moment you change that judgment, everything shifts. Many people hesitate to restart because they tie their value to youth, energy, or early success. The Stoics cut through that illusion completely. They insisted that real worth comes only from virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. And these are available in full measure at any stage of life. No birthday can take them away from you. Look at real lives that prove this truth. Colonel Harlan Sanders was 62 years old, living on a small Social Security check, when he began franchising Kentucky Fried Chicken after decades of failed jobs and businesses. Vera Wang entered the bridal design world at 40, after years in figure skating and magazine editing. Grandma Moses picked up a paintbrush seriously at 78 and created some of the most beloved American art of the century, painting well into her 101st year. These stories are not rare exceptions meant to inspire envy. They are quiet evidence that nature does not close the door on those who decide to use their time well. The opportunity is always there, waiting for the decision. Seneca asked a question that cuts straight to the heart. What guarantee do you have that you'll live longer than today? The honest answer is none. So why keep postponing the life you actually want to live? The fear that it's too late steals far more of your time than aging ever could. The Stoics urged us not to wait for perfect conditions, more youth, or fewer responsibilities. They urged us to live deeply and fully right now, in whatever circumstances we find ourselves. Restarting your life isn't about calculating how many years you have left. It's about deciding to bring depth, purpose, and intention to the years you do have. So accept this calmly and clearly. It is never too late because every single day hands you a brand new beginning. The past has shaped you, taught you, toughened you, but does not own you or define your future. Today, in this ordinary moment, you have the quiet power to choose differently. That choice belongs entirely to you, no matter how old you are, no matter what has happened before. The door is still open. All that's required is the courage to walk through it. Number 2, accept the past. Let go of regret and resentment. Any true restart begins with an honest, unflinching look at the past. The regrets, the wrong choices, the missed opportunities, the years that feel wasted, they sit heavily on the heart. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to be tolerant with others and strict only with himself. Extend that same tolerance inward for a moment. The past happened exactly as it did. Judging yourself harshly for it now changes nothing about what occurred and only adds fresh suffering to old pain. Acceptance isn't approval. It's simply acknowledging reality so you can finally move forward. Epictetus gave us the clearest map here. It's never the events themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. The events of your past are over and done. Your reaction to them is the only thing still happening. If you carry resentment toward yourself, toward others, or toward life itself, you remain chained to what you want to escape. Forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, isn't weakness. It's the practical act of cutting those chains. It creates the open space needed for something new to grow. Seneca observed that we suffer far more in our imagination than in reality. Regret is the perfect example. We replay old scenes, imagine different outcomes, punish ourselves with if only. But those scenes are gone forever. The Stoics trained themselves to see the past as necessary, as the exact path that brought them to this moment of awakening. Without those detours, those pains, those apparent wastes of time, you would not be the person who is now ready to restart wiser, stronger, and clearer about what truly matters. Look at Ray Kroc, who sold milkshake machines into his 50s before he saw the potential in a small burger stand and built McDonald's into a global empire. His earlier struggles and wasted years taught him persistence and sales skills he later used masterfully. Laura Ingalls Wilder began writing the Little House books in her 60s, drawing directly from a pioneer childhood full of hardship that most would call lost time. The past isn't your enemy. It's the raw material that has prepared you uniquely for what comes next. The Stoics practice turning every obstacle into fuel. Your past mistakes, failures, and detours are obstacles only if you keep carrying them. Lay them down like old, heavy clothes that no longer fit. Release the resentment, the shame, the endless second-guessing. When you do, you suddenly feel lighter, clearer, more capable of choosing a new direction. The energy you previously spent on regret becomes available for building the life you actually want. Make this practical and daily. Each morning, spend a quiet minute reflecting on the past without judgment or drama. Simply note what it taught you, express gratitude for the lessons, and consciously let it go. This small habit clears mental space the way opening a window clears a stuffy room. With that space comes freedom, the freedom to decide who you will be from this day forward. Number 3, focus on what you can control, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus gave us the single most useful tool for restarting, the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, our judgments, our desires, our actions, our character. Everything else, age, past events, other people's opinions, even the length of our lives, is not. Real progress and real peace come from pouring all our energy into the first column and calmly accepting whatever appears in the second. One of the biggest blocks people face is fear of judgment. What will my family say if I change careers now? What will friends think if I start over in my 50s? Marcus Aurelius saw this clearly. We care more about other people's opinions than our own, even though we claim to love ourselves most. But other people's opinions are completely outside your control. Try to manage them is a waste of the only thing you do control, your time and attention. Let them think what they will. Your life is not their responsibility. Worried about health or energy declining with age? Then focus relentlessly on what you can still influence. Daily movement, real food, good sleep, stress management. Stuck in a career or situation that feels dead? Control your effort, learning new skills, reaching out, preparing quietly. External limits always exist, but your response to them is where life actually happens. That response is always yours. Samuel L. Jackson struggled with addiction for years and didn't land his breakthrough role until his 40s, when Pulp Fiction changed everything. He focused on what he could control, showing up clean, preparing intensely, delivering performances. Morgan Freeman worked steadily as an actor for decades with little recognition until major roles poured in after age 50. Both men ignored the uncontrollable ticking clock and mastered their daily effort instead. Seneca put it plainly, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The moment you fully accept this, restarting becomes possible. Replace every thought of, I can't because I'm too old, with the quiet question, what small thing is in my control today that moves me forward? That shift alone changes everything. Living this dichotomy brings deep calm. No more fighting reality. No more exhausting yourself over what cannot be changed. All your power concentrates where it belongs, on your next thought, your next choice, your next action. That focused power is enough to build an entirely new chapter, no matter where you begin. Number 4, take small daily actions, build momentum with discipline. Grand dramatic restarts rarely last. Real change comes from small, consistent daily actions. Marcus Aurelius began each day early, journaling his intentions and reminding himself of his values. You don't need to become an emperor. Just adopt the same quiet discipline. Choose one small habit that aligns with the life you want and commit to it daily. Seneca warned that when it comes to time, we are often the most wasteful. We guard money and possessions carefully, yet throw hours away on distractions. To restart, treat time as your most precious resource. Guard it fiercely. Block out even 30 minutes each day dedicated solely to your new direction. Learning, moving, planning, creating. Those protected minutes compound quietly into transformation. Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from being master of yourself. Self-mastery is built through discipline, especially when it's inconvenient. Start simple. Make your bed, wake at the same time, do the small task you've been avoiding. These tiny acts train the muscle of discipline that will carry you through bigger challenges later. Momofuku Ando was 48 when he invented instant ramen in his backyard shed after losing everything post-war. He later created cup noodles at 61. Both inventions came from years of persistent daily experimentation. Stan Lee spent decades writing ordinary comics before creating the Marvel superheroes we know in his 40s. Their success wasn't luck. It was momentum built from daily work when no one was watching. Obstacles and low motivation will come. Stoics expected them and saw them as training. When you're tired, do the small action anyway. When doubt whispers, act despite it. Virtue and character grow precisely through these repeated choices in difficult moments. Discipline isn't about feeling ready. It's about doing it regardless. Keep track gently. Each evening, ask yourself one calm question. What did I do today, however small, that moved me toward the life I want? Write it down. Over weeks and months, these small entries become undeniable proof of progress. Momentum builds, confidence grows, and the restart that once felt impossible becomes your quiet daily reality. Number 5, live according to virtue. Find meaning in the present. The Stoics insisted that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external success, but from living according to virtue. The four core virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are always available, always enough. When you restart your life around these, everything gains deeper meaning. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stop debating or waiting for perfect conditions. Act with wisdom in your decisions, courage in your actions, justice toward others, and moderation in your desires. Today, meaning flows naturally from these daily choices. Age often brings a gift younger people rarely have, clarity about what actually matters. Youth chases fame, money, excitement. Later years reveal the quiet power of character, relationships, and inner peace. Restarting now means building a life aligned with these lasting goods rather than fleeting ones." Julia Child discovered her passion for French cooking in her late 30s and began her television career at 50, bringing joy to millions through authenticity and enthusiasm. Rodney Dangerfield struggled in comedy for decades before finally breaking through in his 40s with raw, honest material. Both found meaning by living true to themselves and serving others through their craft. Seneca wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Cultivate thoughts rooted in virtue, gratitude, kindness, purpose, acceptance, and the present moment becomes rich and sufficient. The future takes care of itself when today is lived well." Understand this deeply. It is never too late because life is measured not in years, but in virtuous moments. Every single choice to act with wisdom, courage, justice, or self-control adds real value to your existence. Restart today by making one such choice right now. Peace, purpose, and quiet fulfillment will follow naturally, no matter your age. Number 6, redefine success. Shift from external achievements to inner excellence. Most people delay restarting because they measure success by society standards: money, status, fame, youth. The Stoics rejected this completely. They defined success as living in accordance with nature, which means developing your character and acting with virtue every day. When you adopt this definition, age becomes irrelevant. A life of inner excellence is open to you right now, no matter where you stand externally. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man in the world, constantly reminded himself that titles and wealth mean nothing if the soul is neglected. He wrote that at the end of each day, he only wanted to be able to say he had acted justly and wisely. Restarting becomes lighter when you stop chasing what the world applauds and start pursuing what your rational nature demands. Epictetus asked his students, "How long will you wait to think yourself worthy of the highest things?" Many wait for a promotion, a certain bank balance, or a younger body before they feel allowed to live fully. The Stoic answer is, you are worthy now. Your worth lies in your capacity to choose wisely in this moment, not in any external marker. Consider Toni Morrison, who published her first novel at 40 while raising children and working full-time, eventually winning the Nobel Prize. Or Harlan David Sanders again. He wasn't chasing billionaire status at 62. He simply wanted to share his recipe and support himself with dignity. Their later success flowed from inner purpose, not from chasing society's scoreboard. Seneca warned that we spend life preparing to live instead of actually living. Redefining success as daily virtue ends that preparation trap. You no longer need perfect conditions to begin. You begin by choosing wisdom over anger, courage over comfort, justice over convenience. Today, tomorrow, every day remaining. Make this shift practical. Write down your old definition of success, then cross it out and replace it with living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Read it each morning. Over time, the pressure lifts, and restarting feels not like climbing a mountain, but like returning home to who you were meant to be. Number 7, cultivate indifference to outcomes. Focus on effort and process. One of the deepest Stoic practices is preferring virtue while remaining indifferent to outcomes. You control your effort, your honesty, your persistence, but not the results. Many hesitate to restart because they fear failure or a lack of reward. The Stoics teach that true failure is only acting without virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do what is necessary, and whatever the reason of a social animal requires, and as it requires." He did his duty calmly, without attachment to praise or success. When you adopt this mindset, starting something new at any age stops feeling risky, because the real prize is the quality of your action, not the applause. Epictetus used the analogy of an archer. The archer aims well, draws the bow correctly, that is in his control. Whether the arrow hits the target depends on wind and other factors. He has done his part if he aimed well. Restart your life the same way. Focus on aiming well each day, not on guaranteeing the bullseye. Look at J.K. Rowling, rejected by dozens of publishers while a single mother on welfare, writing in cafes. She controlled her daily writing. The outcome, Harry Potter's massive success, was never guaranteed. Or Alan Rickman, who didn't get his breakthrough film role until 42. Both focused on process when results were uncertain. Seneca reminded us that fortune is fickle. Attach your peace to outcomes, and you remain anxious forever. Attach it to effort and virtue, and peace follows regardless of age or result. This indifference is not apathy. It's the deepest form of freedom. Practice this daily. Before any action toward your restart, remind yourself quietly, "I will do this with full effort and virtue and accept whatever comes." This small sentence removes fear, builds resilience, and turns every step into a quiet victory. Number 8, build a supportive environment. Choose your influences wisely. The Stoics knew we are deeply shaped by our surroundings and companions. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid by others." Restarting often requires distancing yourself from people or environments that reinforce the old version of you. Marcus Aurelius surrounded himself with teachers and books that elevated his mind, even as emperor. He read Epictetus daily. You can do the same. Curate your inputs carefully. Read Stoic texts, listen to wise voices, limit time with those who drag you into complaint or stagnation. Seneca wrote letters to his friend Lucilius to keep him on the path of virtue. Find or create your own circle, online communities, a single accountable friend, a journal that acts as your wise companion. Isolation makes restarting harder. Wise company makes it natural. Many late bloomers change their environment first. Diana Nyad trained for her cubital floor to swim in her 60s by surrounding herself with a dedicated team who believed in the goal. Paul Cézanne painted tirelessly in later years, supported by a small circle of artists who valued his vision when the world did not. Environment includes habits and spaces. Clear distractions. Create a corner for your new pursuit. Schedule time as if it were sacred. Small changes in surroundings signal to your mind that change is real and ongoing. Begin simply. List the 5 main influences in your life: people, media, places. Ask calmly, do they lift me toward virtue and my new direction, or pull me back? Adjust one this week. A supportive environment quietly carries you forward when willpower alone feels thin. Number 9, embrace mortality. Use Memento Mori as daily fuel. The Stoics practiced Memento Mori. Remember you will die, not to frighten themselves, but to awaken. Facing mortality directly removes the illusion that there is endless time to waste. It clarifies what truly matters and gives urgency to restarting now. Seneca began each day imagining it might be his last. He wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." This practice turns regret into action and procrastination into presence. Marcus Aurelius kept a skull on his desk as a reminder. He reflected that Alexander the Great and his mule driver ended up the same in death. Fame, youth, wealth, none escape. What remains is how well we used our time. Age then becomes a gift. Fewer illusions, more clarity. Steve Jobs spoke in his Stanford speech about remembering death as the most important tool to make big choices. Diagnosed with cancer, he lived deliberately. Ernestine Shepard began bodybuilding at 56 and became the oldest competitive female bodybuilder at 80, driven partly by loss and the desire to live fully while alive. Memento Mori is not morbid, it is liberating. It dissolves excuses like "I'll do it when I'm younger" or "when I have more time." You realize time is finite for everyone at every age. The only difference is awareness. Make it gentle and daily. Each morning pause for 10 seconds and whisper, "This could be my last day. What would I choose to do with it?" Then take one step toward a restart. This quiet practice turns every day into meaningful action. Number 10, practice gratitude. Turn your perspective toward abundance. Restarting feels heavy when we focus on what we lack. Lost time, missed chances, declining energy. The Stoics countered this with deliberate gratitude, training the mind to see what remains rather than what is gone. Epictetus, despite being lame and once enslaved, thanked the gods daily for a healthy mind and the ability to choose his response. He taught that wanting what you already have equals wealth. At any age, you possess the present moment and the capacity for virtue, enough for a rich life. Seneca practiced an evening review. What good did I do today? What faults did I overcome? Where can I improve? Adding gratitude. What am I thankful for? Turns reflection into fuel rather than self-criticism. Andrea Bocelli lost his sight completely at 12, yet began his singing career seriously later and became one of the world's greatest tenors. He speaks often of gratitude for music and family. Gladys Burrell completed her first marathon at 92, grateful simply for the ability to move. Gratitude shifts perspective from scarcity to abundance. You see experience as an asset, lessons as treasures, remaining time as precious rather than short. This mindset makes bold action feel natural instead of desperate. Start tonight. Write 3 things you're grateful for today, simple, specific. Include one related to your capacity to restart. Over weeks, this practice rewires your mind. What once felt like too late begins to feel like just in time. You've journeyed through these 10 Stoic outlines, each one a quiet reminder that time is not your enemy, it is your canvas. From accepting the past to embracing mortality, from small daily actions to living by virtue, every step points to the same timeless truth. The power to restart your life has always belonged to you. It does not depend on youth, on perfect circumstances, or on erasing what came before. It depends only on your calm decision, made today, to align your actions with wisdom and courage. The Stoics did not promise ease. They promised something deeper, a life of meaning, resilience, and inner peace, no matter how many years have passed or how many remain. Look back at the examples we've shared. Colonel Sanders, Julia Child, Samuel L. Jackson, Grandma Moses, and so many others who began again later in life. They were not superhuman. They were ordinary people who finally chose to focus on what they could control, to act despite doubt, and to measure success by the quality of their effort rather than the timing of their start. Their stories are not meant to shame you for waiting. They are meant to free you from the lie that the window has closed. That window is open right now, in this very moment, as wide as it has ever been. So here is the gentle, direct truth. It is not too late. It is never too late as long as you have this day. The past shaped you, but it does not sentence you. The future is uncertain for everyone, young or old. So the only place real change can happen is here, in the choices you make next. Take one small step today. Read a page of Marcus Aurelius. Write down one thing you're grateful for. Move your body for 10 minutes. Reach out to someone who lifts you. Whatever it is, let it be simple. Let it be yours, and let it be done with virtue. You deserve a life that feels aligned, purposeful, and calm. And that life is still waiting for you. Begin it now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when conditions feel better. Begin it quietly, steadily today. The Stoics would smile and say, "Well done. You've remembered what matters most." Stay calm, stay wise, and keep walking forward one deliberate step at a time. Thank you for spending this time here. If this message reached you, like the video, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments, what is the one small step you are taking today? Until next time, live well.